Hello everyone, it's Tim Irwin here from Penfolds, the General Manager here in the Americas, and we're so excited to be with you tonight. The Wine Vault and Bistro, one of our all-time favourites, and I tell you what, there's an absolute gem of a pairing and dishes that Chef has served up, and I'm quite jealous I'm not there in person to be enjoying it with you. But you know, Penfolds, we're celebrating 177 years this year, going all the way back to 1844 when Dr. Christopher Rawson Penfold and his wife Mary sailed from England to Adelaide in South Australia. So 127 days at sea. And back then we're making fortifieds and tawnies, and Dr. Penfolds was a general practitioner. So if you had anemia or other ailments, you would actually be served or prescribed that for your illness. So those doctors don't really exist today, but you know, that was the foundation of Penfolds, and Mary was a real driving force behind the brand. This is just after the colony of South Australia had been formed. Fast track a few years, we've had many innovations at Penfolds, things like purchasing the Kalimna vineyard in the Barossa Valley, which is historical because it goes all the way back to 1880, some of the old Cabernet vines and some really old mature Shiraz vines, which is really important with one of the wines that you're trying tonight. But what really put Penfolds on the map was in the late 1940s when a gentleman by the name of Max Schubert travelled from Adelaide to Spain to study sherry and Portugal for port, and on his way around he went to Bordeaux. There in the great Bordeaux, he tasted wines 30, 40, 50 years old and took that knowledge back to Australia with the intention of starting his own first growth Bordeaux. So in 1951, the first experimental vintage of Grange was born. Back then, you've got to remember, a lot of people were still consuming table wines and fortified. So the family actually asked him to stop making it. So you hear of the hidden Granges, 1957, 58 and 59, where Max was making it in secrecy. Now, Max wouldn't be perturbed by that, and the general manager at the time, Geoffrey Penfold Highland, encouraged Max to start making these wines. And after a few years, took them back to the family where they'd softened out. And the 1955 Grange is synonymous because of its awards and accolades, and it completely changed the landscape for Penfolds in the entire Australian wine industry. That bottle of 1951 that was $2 back then now goes for $140,000 for one bottle. But why I tell you that is some of the great wines that you're going to be enjoying tonight all cascade and start from Grange, including the evolution of the Bin series, which is basically a style of wine when you see those numbers, all the way through to current day where we're celebrating the 70th consecutive vintage of Penfolds Grange. It's an amazing lineup of wines that you've got tonight, and none better to start with than the Bin 311 Chardonnay. This is a personal favourite of mine. Stylistically, I think this is a great Chardonnay for everybody. If you like the oakier style or you like the cleaner, more mineral style, you get a bit of both in this wine. There is about 7 months in oak, kind of that New World Burgundy that we get, but we're going to some of the coolest regions in Australia, places like Tasmania, next stop Antarctica, Tumbarumba, where some of these vineyards see snow. So you're getting a real sense of the diversity of Australia, especially when it comes to these wines. And, you know, we love a good white wine at Penfolds, and we've been making them for yet many years. But the great thing about this Bin 311 Chardonnay is its ability to age and pair with food. And that's what you've got here in the lovely prawns that you've got crafted there, a little bit of butter, the lemon for the acidity. It matches so well with the oak and the balance of the wine and the lovely natural acidity you're getting from the wine. So this is a bright, vibrant style that is truly diverse. It can drink by itself, but with a prawn or something along those lines, absolutely fantastic. The other option there is you've got this lovely salad, the hardiness of the beets. It works so well, and that little bit of blue cheese, absolutely divine. I'm absolutely salivating, wish I was there with you. But the Bin 311, there's so much diversity to this wine. We love it so much, and I hope you enjoy the first course. Cheers. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that Bin 311 Chardonnay, but we've got another great wine to share with you. And this is really one of the original bins. So when people say bins and the numbers, what does it mean? It actually stands for batch identification number. So shortly after Max started Grange, there was a whole range of bin wines that were crafted. And the thing for you to remember at Penfolds is that bin number is a shortcut to that style of wine. So in the example tonight, we're going to be enjoying Bin 28. This is a wine that goes all the way back to 1959, and we're paying homage to that famous Kalimna vineyard that I mentioned before. Now, the Kalimna vineyard's in the Barossa Valley, so it tends to be a warmer climate, nice and muscular style of wine. The thing I love so much about Bin 28 is its ability to age. You know, for the price point, good examples of this will go 20, 30, 40 years in some instances. So a lovely expression of what we do at Penfolds, and the versatility to age, just like Mac started with Grange. Now, you're also going to be enjoying this wine with some amazing food that chefs prepared. You've got the lovely brisket, which again, as you think about the masculinity of the fruits and pairing it up, these wines work so well together with this lovely brisket and cut of meat. And of course, those Brussels sprouts on the side, making sure we stay healthy as well. Now, the other food that we've got tonight is this quail, and does bacon go with everything? And the answer is yes, especially with Bin 28. Now, if you've still got a bit of the Bin 311 Chardonnay, I'm sure you could probably try it both with this quail. But again, a lovely expression of food where the wine and food is going hand in hand together. Bin 28, it's a favourite of mine. It's a favourite of many collectors. It's a favourite of many of our winemakers. I hope you enjoyed this course. Cheers. Now we're going to take a journey all the way across to the Northern Hemisphere, almost where it began back in the day with Dr. Penfold and Mary. But instead of going to the UK, we're actually going to right here in the Napa Valley in California. Now, this is a project that started over 20 years ago with Penfolds winemakers coming across, plantings and cuttings from that famed Kalimna vineyard and McGill Estate, the home of Penfolds, being grafted on in Paso Robles. And over time, we've made our way up to Napa Valley. This is our Bin 704. So the hemispherical reverse of 407, one of our favourite wines of Cabernet in Australia. This is a lovely expression of Penfolds within the Napa Valley. So as a Penfolds, we say it's Penfolds in between. Everything above is Californian sun. Everything below is Californian soil. We have this lovely house style of 704. A lot of this fruit is coming from the Rutherford district, that lovely dry, dusty tannin that we work so well with French oak and integrating together. As Max once said, it's all about integrating the oak with the wine as it is the wine and the oak. And this is a true example of us expanding the multi-regional blending like Grange into the Northern Hemisphere. Now, as an Australian, I do love lamb, and this Osso Bucco looks delicious. And I can tell you right now, lamb and Napa Valley Cabernet, they're so amazing. This is going to work so well together. I hope you're enjoying your evening. Please enjoy. Now we're going to take a journey from the southern to the northern hemisphere. Now, Grange, like I shared before, is always a multi-regional blend, so finding the best sourcing of fruit from that vintage. This is the thinking that led us to California over 20 years ago, bringing cuttings from Australia from our McGill vineyard, Kalimna vineyard, Penfolds winemakers flying over, and this is a true Penfolds expression. It's Californian sun above, Californian soil below, and everything else in between is Penfolds. Now, Bin 704 is a Cabernet Sauvignon from the Rutherford district, that lovely dry, dusty tannin working so well with French oak. But when we're talking about pairing and integration, Osso Bucco, lamb, one of my all-time favourites, with those lovely roasted vegetables is going to be a match made in heaven. We absolutely love this pairing. We absolutely love this wine, and it's inaugural 2018 vintage, and what a vintage to launch. Please enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, is there a better way to finish an evening with a lovely tawny? This is paying homage to Dr. Penfold that I shared earlier on, all the way back. If you had anemia, you'd get a little bit of this. But I tell you what, it's even better to finish with dinner. And with this milk chocolate brownie and that lovely glaze with cognac, they work so well together. The Club Tawny is up to 10 years old. We use the Solera system in Australia. And so you're getting that lovely orange rind and caramel notes and working with the brownie. Oh, does it end any better? But the evening has to come to a close, and we're excited that you're able to join us tonight. So from all of us at Penfolds in our 177th year, thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait to see you again. Cheers.